Ladies and gentlemen, lovers of war, traders of great renown, I, the strategic Indian, bid you welcome to my channel, where our motto is think, practice thinking. If you like the content, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment, which will greatly help with the almighty YouTube algorithm. Let us consider two electrons hurtling towards each other in a straight line. The gap between them closing every passing unit of time, howsoever small. However, they are destined to never collide. After their closest point of approach, an immeasurably infinitesimal gap, they pull apart from each other as two lovers who never met. With one safely ensconced in a warm bus while the other shivered, drenched in the rain, in front of the bus stop you can see from your window. All they have in common is that one glance, the conversation that never was, the meeting which never happened, the life which was never shared. Non-ideal liquids, by their intrinsic properties, turn either warmer or colder upon mixing. These minor changes in temperature, while measurable, are ignored or simply unknown to most of humanity. The liquids mix, form bonds, change their properties, and develop an entirely different affection of their own. Two liquids in separate bottles come together in one, live an exciting life, giving color, smells, and life. These colors, so wonderful and joyous, so vibrant and enticing, pushed a young boy sitting in an air-conditioned room in India way back in 2003 to raise his hand when asked who wants to be a chemist. 17 years later, he went on to invent a new chemical reaction, becoming one of 16 people currently alive to have done so, and went on to work with a double Nobel laureate in chemistry. Within this tiny gap, within this minor change of temperature, one question remained unanswered. A question as old as time herself. A question echoing in the dark Balkan mountains, drumming in the forest of Germania, singing in the Colosseum. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? We left off last time from the ending of the turn. So we spent all of our money. Now we have 6,000 gold coming in every turn. We are going to keep pushing this up. And we had gotten attacked by the Saxons. Franks, Saxons, here they come. So they had two armies nearby which we had watched. Let's look at this. Oh my god, look at the number of dog troops that they have bought. What is this? There are like 6 dog units in this army. Yeah. What is this? This is the most difficult AI. This unit has more dogs in it. There are like 8. Oh my god, they got 14 dog units in one battle against Roman heavy infantry. This is peak AI. This is really peak AI. And of all the AIs released by Total War, Attila is the most aggressive one. And this is what the AI does. It just makes a gigantic... What is this? 14 dog units against... Oh my god. This city has got 2 entrances. These dogs are not going anywhere. We have pikes. Oh man, we have 2 pikes for either end. Right, now I know why the AI keeps making these units, because yeah, they are dirt cheap and you can build them in the very first city itself. So it just goes and has a field day. Right, we're going to start deployment. Standard, of course. We are going to block off one end. We're going to hide our horses. so that we don't engage their cavalry, because yeah, they do bring very competent cavalry. I have cavalry superiority, so I'm not worried, but I don't want to lose any horses unnecessarily. So this side is the one that we block. We group our cavalry together. Put them towards the bushes. This is a good army. I think the army that we have in Colonia Agrippina now is, I think, a little bit of overkill, because in number of missile units, I still think this is a bit overkill. 5 units of missiles is a bit too much. Probably I'll trim this down, because the only threats right now at Colonia Agrippina are, of course, the Saxons, whom we are facing now. We are going to degrade their abilities quite a lot. The other threat comes from the Viking factions. So they have two choices. Either they go down and sail down to Camellodunum, where we have a fleet and an army on ambush nearby to humiliate them, or what we can do is we can have them come over here, overland. If they come overland, then of course they are not going to get the debuffs from fighting overseas, because the only Viking faction which does not get the debuff for waterborne are the Danes, and we haven't discovered the Danes, and second, the Danes get eliminated pretty fast, pretty early. They also have a pretty tough start. So that's why we need to maintain this one army, and of course any army which decides to traipse down into Belgica. So this army can be trimmed down just a little bit. I'm a bit worried about the Langobards pushing towards the provincial capital of Belgica. So other than that, this army serves not much of a function other than a bottleneck. It has to be maintained because it's a tremendous magnet for all the factions except the Huns to go towards Belgica. They really love to go over there, so we will have to maintain this army for a very long time. Right, so let's focus back on the fight. We are moving our mercenary axes on the ramparts. I'll get into them a bit later. I have hidden my horses in this little clump of jungle because I don't want to get them discovered yet. The general is going to hold any flank which leaks into, and we will have our slingers posted pretty far away at an angle where they can fire onto our comitatense and our pike line. So the general is going to prevent any unit from leaking into the stronghold. Right, so the mercenary Nordic X-band. This is a fantastic unit. I really love this unit quite a lot. I can't get enough of these boys, except that they cost a gigantic ton of money early game when you would actually need them. But late game, we will have much better units. But they have two precursors which they can fire, and they are devastating in the close range. They scare enemy units. So these dog handling troops, they don't stand a chance. These are light melee infantry, and as we can see, they are coming in. So we wait till the very last moment. So I want a clump to form so that when they throw their axes, so they throw Franciscas. There you can see those Franciscas are being thrown. These dog units are going to get completely hammered. And once you put units on the ramparts, the dog unit sees them and it can't reach them, so they let go of their dogs to come in a straight line, and then we have pike line and we have a comitatense line which is going to arrest these dogs. 14 dog units. So this is an actual conversation which actually happened. So one unit of comitatense spears were like, so how many dogs did they bring? the other cohort, which actually fought in this battle, and nobody believes this guy. And he's like, yeah, they brought a lot. And he was like, didn't you count how many they bring? No. Why didn't you count? Yeah, I was busy. Busy with what? With the dogs they got. How many dogs did they bring? A lot. That's what I've been trying to tell you. They bought all the dogs. All the dogs that you can think in the human world, in the Roman world, outside and inside, they bought all those dogs. All of them. Yes, all of them. They bought all the dogs. Yeah, it's a mystery how they bred all these dogs. And okay, on the left flank, this is going to be really enjoyable. Their Lancer unit is going to do a lance attack on spears which are ready for them. So let's go in and have a look. Look at these Germanic pike units, and here comes the awesome noble horse units against peasants with sharp pointed sticks. And this is the cream of the crop of the this is absolute cream of the crop. Look at the armor and the beautiful horses that these Saxons bought against these peasants with the sharp sticks. Yeah, the result has been the same as it has been for millennia. Sharp sticks always wins against horses. Horses don't do that well. Projectiles behave. So here the lancers are coming in for another foolhardy charge. So this is, the insanity is the definition of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Albert Einstein. So those lancers are just going to get completely eliminated. I don't think any of them are going to get away. Right, we moved our cohorts onto the ramparts so that they can throw their plumbata at the enemy. So the most devastating, I think I'll leave that for another episode where I can talk about projectiles and how projectiles are affected, because there are a lot of hidden stats in the game which the game never puts up, and then that can be found in the game files and you have to really troll the internet to find that out. So how the different right, so as you can see, the general is holding up any troops which are coming in, and the general is in a position which stops the bleeding of units, and especially I'm a bit afraid of the dogs for the reason is that they love to go for our skirmisher units, and our skirmisher units are pretty much in the center without much infantry guarding them. So if the dogs didn't see that Nordic X warband on the ramparts and sent out their troops, their dog troops to go after them, if they saw the skirmishers and the dogs made a beeline for the skirmishers, we would really have a very bad day, because then it gets very difficult to manage all of that. So in this case, we kept our skirmishers well back and gave them an enticing target in the form of a useless Nordic X warband. Not useless in the sense of unable to fight, but useless from the point of the AI, because the AI won't be able to do much against these X units even if the dogs reach up to them, because they are very, very capable infantry troops. So that general has come in. He has actually just slunk past our infantry line exactly how we wanted it. He has been arrested by the general line, and now both of our X boys are just going to punish this general. X's are really the mainstay of barbarian units, but when Romans can hire them, then they do. And especially when you know what to do and which situations they are to be used, they are going to be tremendously devastating. So our skirmishers are giving them a hammering. They have gone on precision shot, and these mercenary skirmishers are actually Celtic skirmishers are pretty competent, and they are going to really punish them. They already have racked up 200 kills. So we move our axes to fight, and our horses are moved in because their projectiles are firing in a flat trajectory, which is going and hitting our X unit. So what you want to do is close in with the general, because as soon as they close in, then if the enemy continues to fire in a flat projectile, then they are going to hit their own general in the back. Because friendly fire is a real thing in Attila. So you want to use the terrain and the positioning of the systems very situationally as you want. So we are holding them in this little block, and our axes are doing predictably well against their Germanic nobles, because swords against axes will always win. We are sending in our horses. There, we got their general. So I am going to preserve the ammunition, because this army is going to rout. Look at these skirmishers. Why do you have to go through? It's so lucky that this army is about to dissolve, else the skirmishers just walked into infantry. They can't go the other way around as they should. Okay, I really enjoyed these battles, because city defenses are going to be the bread and butter tactics of yours when you're playing as the Western Rome, because the cities are itself armies. You have 8 armies in the beginning, which you can pump up to 10. Much later you can get 12 armies. But imagine each and every city that you hold, city and town that you hold, as armies and strong points, because they have garrisons, they have got favorable geometries which can make sure that the enemy troops are channeled towards favorable fighting positions. You have got towers which we are going to use coming in. We are using our cavalry to mop up. We are moving our axes back. One side of the stronghold, the right flank of the stronghold, is going to be held by 1 unit of pike and our general, because our general doesn't need to be in the danger zone on the right flank. They do bring a lot of projectiles, so I don't want the general to get shot in the face and then pulling off a cheeky win. We're going to hold off firing till the very last moment. We are going to put in troops which are low on ammunition and which can fire in a straight line. So that is cohorts, that is our javelins and our slingers on the ramparts, and we will wait till the very last moment as they come in. Preference is going to be given to blobs of infantry. Preference is going to be given to the sword units, because their sword units are going to do quite a nice job against our comitatensi spear, which is holding our left flank. There, our cohorts have begun to fire, and this makes them release their dogs. We have placed our infantry again at a line, but we are going to close this gap because their dogs are coming in, and our skirmishers, our skirmisher units, so that includes arrows, those you don't want to get mauled by the dogs. The slingers are doing a fantastic job. Our cohorts are done firing, so I will move them away from the rampart. So these pikes which they bring are going to have a very, very bad day. The Saxons really bring a gigantic number of pikes, and these troops are really not going to get out of this battlefield. One, they are going to get completely shot up to pieces by our projectile units. We have 3 units of cavalry which are more than sufficient to do mop up. They are already mopping up on the previous army. As you can see, our one of our horse units are going to be moved forward so that they have sufficient energy to catch up to these troops which are going to run. Another unit of their horses decided to do a foolhardy charge, so they got punished for that. They pushed back a little bit. They are a bit scared. Our skirmishers on the ramparts are firing. All of our ramparts are firing. The javelins are doing an amazing job. We are going to still hold our ammunition because there is still a lot of troops which are coming. So always keep an eye out on their projectile units and notice what they are doing, because before long your troops are going to get completely butchered. As soon as javelins are done firing, cohorts are done firing, you want to move them away from the ramparts, because the cohorts can get into Testudo, which they can't if they are on the ramparts. So look at those pikes just get completely hammered. Our mercenary slingers have already raked up 200 kills, which is great. Their horses came in for another charge. That's going to be completely ineffectual. Their JFCAV is firing. They are trying to look for ways to enter the city, but I'm afraid there are none. Meanwhile, our cavalry is continuing the very nice mop-up operations. So always keep checking. Here our strategy is going to be to leave both of these armies alive and weakened, because what I want them to do is again hobble back to their capital and then start recruiting. If you wipe off this army completely, then they are going to start recruiting with a new army, and that's what we don't want to do, because Stilicho is going to enter the danger zone. Stilicho is going to get into Germania, and he is going to take out the Lombards, and he is going to do all sorts of shenanigans against central Germany. So it is in your best interest to keep the Saxons weak, because that's one more faction which is going to field half armies. Because Stilicho is still recovering in Iuvanum because of that fantastic fight which we did against the Markomans. If you haven't seen that fight, I would really request you to go and have a look. Link will be up there on the top right, because that is a fantastic fight. I really enjoyed that fight, and it's one of the best fights I ever did, and that's what Attila does. Gives you this sense of accomplishment. Okay, all units of projectiles which have done firing are moved to the other side, because their slingers are in position and they have begun to fire. We have opened up our infantry line in such a manner that some of the troops can bleed in, and they are going to be met in by our brutal axe units. So we have 2 axe units which are going to really give a very bad day to whomsoever decides to traipse into this leak which we put in deliberately on the left hand flank. Our mop-up continues, so make sure you get all of these units, but leave some of them. Leave very weakened troops. So for example, dog troops you want to leave alive with just the bare minimum of people. Because those troops won't really do anything against Roman infantry. If they don't catch up to your skirmisher line, there is absolutely nothing that they can do. So if 5 or 6 of their dog troops escape, it's no sweat off of our backs, because we have a very clear advantages in terms of armor, in terms of troops and training, and of course the army composition which we choose to go up. So here you can see that our skirmishers are getting quite hammered, so I'm going to pull them behind the ramparts, because all the troops that they have got 2 units of slingers, 1 unit of javelin, and 1 unit of archer which can fire in an arch. But those 3 units, those first 3 units, they can only fire in a parabola parallel to the ground. So if you hide behind the ramparts, your archers can send out shots, because they can fire in an arch. They won't be able to hit anything, because they will just hit the wall which is in front of your archers and waste their ammunition. Infantry is doing a fantastic job. We are going to pull them back so that they don't unnecessarily expose themselves. There is no point taking risks. We want this army to survive as much as possible unharmed, because probably we will need it to fight against the 2 Langobard stacks. So let's see how that pans out, because we do have a garrison in Colonia, in Augusta Trevororum, which is the capital of the province of Belgica. So that has gotten besieged pretty badly by the Langobards, even by 2 armies. So that's quite heavy. I can't fight 2 armies with 1 garrison, even if they're tier 2. So I notice that they are firing on these cohorts, so immediately the cohorts get into testudo, let them waste their ammunition as long as they are not firing at our pikes, because our pikes wear cotton shirts, they really don't have any defense against such an army. There you can see our outgoing fire. We move our axes far behind, because if you keep your axes intermingled with archers, they do get their HP reduced. So your friendly fire, even if you're sending out friendly fire with units intermingled, they do hit your own troops even if they're stationary. So that's a mechanic of Attila. So be mindful of that you don't waste useful troops like axes in such foolhardy wastages. Archers are continuing to go ham while standing safely behind these ramparts. We can already see the beginning of the rout which is about to happen. There we have the rout. Everybody's going to run, and we shall go and do the mop-up, and I will see you on the campaign map. None of those dog troops that they brought to the battle did anything, because they couldn't kill anybody. They came up to the spear and the pike line and they just got decimated. I did a calculation. There were, at this point, I think over 2,000 dogs in this fight. Over 2,000, comfortably. That is assuming 2 dogs per handler per troop, and they brought in 14 times 40 times 2. That's a huge number of dogs in one battle to die. So Colonia Agrippina is safe again. Not even a scratch on our boys. This army looks as if nothing actually happened. So we are going to just take in the money, because I love gold. So let's just keep the gold. We let both of these armies run away. I would have liked them to be a bit more mauled, but our troops, our cavalry got tired because there are a bunch of vineyards. So 2 troops of Langobards are now besieging Augusta Trevorum. I think that beating that we gave them in the in episode, I think 15, where we entered the Book of Grudges, that is really rankling their sense of pride. The Garamantians came in for a fight. I can see that this army is damaged because there are scratch marks on that unit card. So that means our strategy against the Garamantians is successful. We burnt down their town of Cymadas, so that leaves only their capital of Garama, which unfortunately will not have enough farms. So they are undergoing tremendous amounts of attrition. Every turn that they are over here, they are surviving on attrition. Of course, the AI cheats and doesn't get same levels of attrition loss as you do. But this army is not attacking our emperor because it's pretty weak. So in the subsequent episode, what we will do is we will we will cancel the troops that we were training in Sabrata, so that it looks much more enticing for them to come and attack. So great, Grethundians decide to just walk into our territorial waters. I will go and have a check in the next turn if we actually discovered them, because often this is borderline, they're just in our waters. But if we detect them, then we will have to, of course, declare war on them. They have their hands full because they are really smack bang in the middle of Hunnic territory, where all the Hunnic hordes spawn. They have a lot of trouble. So if we can fight them off, they will not be able to do much harm. Dacia got humiliated. We have got another attack in Hispania, in Galicia, at Brigantium. So I will fight this fight off air, because these troops at my level of skill is really not that difficult. This is a very competent army though, because it brings a lot of crossbows which can eat our infantry very well, and also a very good mixture of horses which we can negate with our Comitatense spears. But it also brings 1 unit of Legio which can eat our Comitatense spears. So this will be a bit of a tough fight. So what we will do is we will turtle near one of the barricades, and we will do the same treatment as we did with the Varanians in Octotorum. But that is going to be off air. I hope you are enjoying this Total War with the Western Roman Empire, playing at legendary difficulty. I hope to see you guys again. Do not forget to like and subscribe and keep watching for more. This has been the Strategic Indian signing out.